Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be giving an update for the SPSFC, or SpaceFic, or Spaceface, whatever you want to call it, the self-pub sci-fi competition that I am on a team of judges with, and giving an update on Phase 1 so far, because we have our six, which I guess they're quarterfinalists, our six quarterfinalists. It's our finalists out of our group of around 30 books for Phase 1, that we're not going to be reading these full books and then giving them a score, and then we will move on from there and figure out which ones are going to make it even further into the next round and continue. I don't know how to talk anymore, apparently, guys, but which books will be continuing on in the competition. So I'm going to be talking about the six that are making it forward, as well as a couple that didn't quite make it, but that I'm planning to read anyway as well. So I guess they count as honorable mentions for me. I guess that's what we'll go. But let's talk first about what our six are. So number one is Melody by Daniel Hoffer. In this one, and for the most part, these are all ones that I definitely was sold on and I voted to continue for, so I'll note that. Melody was probably one of the ones that I was the most intrigued on. This is supposed to be like a first contact type novel, and it involves basically like kind of a sound coming from space, but we also met some people who are like sensitive to it and tend to be able to hear it, and it's just the characters in the world that was being set up and the whole idea with it felt super unique and super interesting. So I'm just really excited to continue this one. Glad it made it. Another one that I had really enjoyed the bit we read, that moving on, is The Stars Within by Lena Allison Knight. And this one is like a more futuristic one where we have basically like the colonization of a bunch of planets, and these companies build places for people to live and kind of use that to force them to then work for them. And we also have a group of like psychic soldiers that are around. It seems like one of those is going to be our main character, from what I remember in this one as well. So that was also another interesting one, and kind of taking some themes that you've seen but doing it in an interesting way. So we'll be interested to read that one as well. The third is The Trellis by Jules Cantor. This is another one I was pretty intrigued on. It felt kind of like old school sci-fi, but it focuses on a kind of dystopian world where a lot of things have happened, and like it's incredibly difficult to find any sort of work because just the country's in a mess, and also there seems to be sort of a conspiracy murder mystery kind of thing going on as well, which felt very intentionally old tech, like you get in some classic sci-fi stuff. This one seemed very unique, and I was just very interested to see where it goes. So it'll be really interesting continuing that one. Also, number 4 is Echoes of Another Earth by J. Daniel Layfield. And this one also was kind of interesting because what seems to be the main character anyway, because once again, these are all we've done kind of our sampling, is somebody who every time they die, they jump into like another parallel dimension as themselves still, but then have to figure out like what things are different. And it's like they're still them, but they like take over whatever other version of themselves every time that they die, and the world just keeps ending no matter where they go for the most part. And that alone was really interesting. But then there's also other people who are like scientists and whatnot, and like studying parallel dimensions and like monitoring for different things. And so also was just a lot being set up, and I was pretty interested in both plot lines there, so I'll be really interested to give the full book a read. Also, number 5 is A Space Girl from Earth by Christina McMullen. This one, and I mentioned, I think when I talked about it before in an update, not really my thing. It's a very YA book, and it's about a girl who, has her life on Earth and is a very glamorous life. Her mother's a model and whatnot, but come to find out that she's actually descended from an alien, and or I can't remember for sure if like her mother might also be an alien as well. I'm not 100% because I read that one pretty early on. But so it not really my thing, but it was really, really well written, and I actually did vote to move this one forward just because it was really well written. So Probably not going to be my favorite, but it was written really well, and so I'll still definitely be giving it a good shot and reading from there, even though it's not my favorite type of style. But pretty interested just to see where it goes because, like I said, it was written very, very well. Then the sixth and final, which we ended up having a couple that kind of tied, and this is the one that ended up making it, which is Echogenesis by Gary Gibson. Now, this one is one that it had an interesting setup. It's not the one I was as interested in as the other five, especially the top four. So it's we've kind of gone in order to an extent of what we had going on here. But the top four are all really, really interested in. The fifth one, really well written. And this one, I didn't really have any issues with it or anything. But there were just a couple of others when we get to the honorable mentions that I personally was like a little higher on. But this one is kind of a... it's like people wake up on what seems to be another planet or something, and they don't really know where they are or what's going on at all. There's some weird things around, and they're all like appear to be themselves aged like 25 or something like that, even though they're all older than that. And so the part where I got to, we hadn't really gotten any answers yet, and I assume it'll be kind of a long haul to get that part anyway. But so that was kind of the premise of that one that was set up. So those are the six that'll be moving forward, and our team will be reading all of those, scoring them, and figuring out which ones are then going to move on to the next part of the phase. So really excited to do that. It's been really, really fun just reading more sci-fi in general, and we've had a pretty unique or not really, I guess unique, but a wide variety of different genre types within sci-fi that we've gone through for this. So it was interesting sampling, and I'm excited to get to read all of those. But on that note of just kind of sampling and some different ones, there are three specific ones that get the honorable mention just for me personally, because I am still going to be reading these. And so I wanted to talk about those. The first one is Witch 6 by Tyler Singh. And this one, I think it was because of the fact that it's a little more sci-fantasy, which is why naturally me as a fantasy reader, I'm like, I'm all for this. And I think others wanted to go with the more actual, like, full sci-fi ones. But this is set up, basically, it's in like a futuristic interplanetary type of world is seen when it's set up, but it is going to involve the last world where like magic still exists. And so it sounds like it's going to be doing that kind of thing where it's magic versus technology. And I was pretty interested. It's also like crazy short. So I definitely will be hoping to get that one out pretty quickly once I pick it up. But still interested to try that one. The next one, which once again, I think this is one of those probably not for everybody, but is Behold, Humanity May We Come In. And this is by Ralph Bloodthorn. And this is like a collection of at least loosely connected short stories set within a universe, I think. The first one was just super silly and cheesy, but it was fun. And then some of the others were also interesting. So this one's kind of longer, actually, despite the fact that it's a collection of short stories. But it's definitely one I just try out because I was actually really enjoying the stories. But I get why some people weren't a fan of kind of the cheesier ones. It was different. And I'm not usually a big fan of short works, but I was kind of interested to continue. So that's another one I will be getting to also. And then the third one is Yahweh's Children by Joseph Fonseca, I think, if I said that right. And this one was really odd, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it. It was just one of those ones where I wanted to read more of it and really determine. But it's kind of also a first contact type of thing, but a signal comes from space and is deemed to be confirming that alien life exists. And except the symbol seems to spell out Yahweh, or the name of God from the Bible, basically. And so it's deemed that this confirms that the people who believe that are correct. And it changes the world in some dramatic ways, but other things don't really change at all. And just the kind of the way it was set up, I was really interested in and really interested to see where it was going to go and kind of finding out. So this is another one where I was just really curious. I wanted to see where it was going to go. And so because of that, that's probably the one I'm going to be reading anyway. And so that is the last of the honorable mentions. So those are the top six. I will plan to do a review for all of those six and probably for the 3 honorable mentions as well. So there'll be a lot more of those coming out. Still other fantasy books too, but for those of you who like sci-fi, you're going to get more sci-fi reviews here coming up soon. That's really it for this one though. I wanted to give that update, let everybody know how that is going. All of the 6 will be read by January 20th about. So over the next like 2 months, I'll be going through and reading those books, and so I can't wait to find out more and talk more about them in reviews down the line. That's it for this one, though. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Do a Discord if you want to chat books, whether any of these books, other books, any books, really anything at all. It is a lot of fun, and we would love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.